Chelsea haven't won the Premier League since 2017, but now they've built a squad that could finally change that. A title challenge is coming, but one thing could ruin everything, and barely anyone's talking about it. After lifting the Premier League in 2017, Chelsea never truly challenged again. Yes, they won the Europa League in 2019. Yes, they pulled off a miracle run to win the Champions League in 2021. But in the league, the real test of consistency, Chelsea couldn't do better than third. They had elite managers, elite players, but something always broke down. Then disaster struck. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. And while the world watched in horror, Chelsea fans braced for another kind of shock. Roman Abramovich, football's most loved billionaire, was sanctioned by the UK government. Abramovich wasn't just an owner, he was the soul of Chelsea's success, a man who put trophies above profits, legacy above balance sheets. And just like that, he was forced to give it all up. The club was sold, a new era had begun, and it started with chaos. Todd Boehly took over and went full football manager. From top to bottom, Chelsea was gutted. Sporting director Marina Granovskaya, gone. Club legend Petr Cech, gone. Champions League winning manager Thomas Tuchel sacked after just a few games. Even the groundsmen weren't spared. Then came the player purge. Chelsea didn't just rebuild, they bought everyone. Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, Sterling, Fofana, Cucurella, Badiashile, Joao Felix, Madueke. The list was endless. The squad ballooned to around 40 players, so many that rumors spread some didn't even have locker space. The managerial situation, just as ridiculous. Graham Potter was hired and overwhelmed. Bruno Saltor took charge for a single game. Then came Frank Lampard, back as caretaker but completely out of his depth. By the end of the 2022-23 season, Chelsea had spent over £1 billion and finished 12th. They were mocked across Europe, a team once feared, now called the billion-pound bottle jobs. This wasn't just failure, it was humiliation. Chelsea had gone from European royalty to a reality show. But here's the thing, hidden in the chaos, buried beneath the memes, something was quietly forming, something dangerous. After the chaos of the banter years, Chelsea needed a fresh start, and 2023-24 was the beginning of Phase 1. And under Maurizio Pochettino, Chelsea finally started laying the foundation. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't instant, but it was progress. This was the season Chelsea slashed the bloated squad, cleared out the deadwood, gave minutes to the future. For the first time since the Abramovich era ended, there was a clear direction. Young talents like Cole Palmer emerged as a superstar out of nowhere. Nicholas Jackson, despite criticism, ended the season with double digits in goals, and Enzo Fernandez, though inconsistent, began to show why Chelsea paid over £100 million for him. But beyond the pitch, the biggest victory was that Chelsea finally had a core, a group of players who were young, hungry, and most importantly, signed for the long term. This wasn't the Chelsea of old, relying on short-term fixes and big names. It was a patient rebuild, even when the results were mixed. A sixth-place finish, no Champions League. The vision was starting to form. But that was only the beginning, because in Phase 2, they wouldn't just rebuild, they would unleash. Chelsea couldn't have asked for a better start under Enzo Maresca. By December, they were second in the Premier League, and just a win away from going top. But Maresca wasn't celebrating. He insisted the team wasn't ready.
Are you in a title race?
No, I said many times. And I really like the pressure. I really like to say, yes, we are there, but we are not there.
At the time, fans thought he was just being humble. But as the new year arrived, he was vindicated. Inconsistency crept in. Chance after chance went begging. Draws turned to losses, and Chelsea began tumbling down the table. At one point, they dropped to 6th. Frustration grew, not just with results, but with how Chelsea were playing. Maresca's system became the target. Endless passing, possession for possession's sake. No creativity, no penetration, no end product. Even Cole Palmer, Chelsea's best player, was being wasted. The one player clinical in front of goal now played deeper, further from the box. His output nosedived. And then came Fulham, a must-win game, at home, against a mid-table side. Chelsea went into halftime trailing, and the boos from Stamford Bridge were loud. Maresca looked finished. But in the second half, something shifted. Two unlikely names, Tariq George and Pedro Neto, turned the game on its head. A 2-1 comeback that changed everything. From that night, Chelsea didn't just start winning, they started believing again. They finished the season with 13 wins in their last 15 games. At the Club World Cup, it all came together. Maresca rotated the squad masterfully, and Chelsea blew teams away. Even Robert Sanchez, once called bottom half level by Jamie Carragher, became a hero. 3 clean sheets, 6 saves in the final. Golden Glove, redemption. Palmer, now playing from the right again, rediscovered his magic. Chelsea beat PSG in the final, winning their second trophy of the season after the Conference League. But Chelsea was not done yet. It was time for Phase 3, time to build on this success. Last season, Chelsea's biggest issue wasn't effort. It wasn't ideas. It was the final blow. The attack, blunt, inconsistent, and over-reliant on Cole Palmer, simply couldn't convert dominance into points. Palmer, the shining light under Pochettino, saw his output plummet as Maresca fully phased in his system. A more structured, passing-oriented style moved Palmer further from goal, and with no one else stepping up, Chelsea's threat dulled. Jackson, while tireless and direct, wasn't the clinical spearhead they needed. Maresca kept saying it in every press conference.
We did enough to win the game today. I think we create chances enough to win the game, but today, if I have to decide the reason why we didn't win the game, I think it's just try to be clinical.
The club listened. And for once, they didn't just spend. They spent with a clear purpose. 145 million later, João Pedro, Liam Delap, and Jamie Bino Gittins, and Chelsea might finally have the variety their attack has lacked for years. Add talks of a £60 million move for Xavi Simons and the long-awaited arrival of Estevão Willian, nicknamed Messinho, and Chelsea's attacking jigsaw is falling into place. João Pedro is grabbing the headlines, and rightfully so. 2 goals in the Club World Cup semi-final. The third goal, the dagger, in the final against PSG. Big stage, big goals, big moments. And with all due respect to Nicholas Jackson, I don't think he could have scored even one of those goals. But the player who might define Chelsea's attack across the entire season, Liam Delap. He's not as flashy, he won't trend on social media, but he's a Premier League striker through and through. Physical, relentless, fearless. He rarely misses games, and he rarely misses battles. He doesn't just score, he bullies defenses into submission. Chelsea fans remember it well, when he was the reason their backline couldn't breathe for 90 minutes. His ball striking is clean and deceptively technical. Just ask Donnarumma, who had to make a world-class save to stop him minutes after coming on in the World Cup. Then, there's Jamie Bino Gittins, a chaos agent in the best way. Compared to Eden Hazard for a reason, but really, he's a blend of Mudryk's pace and Sancho's guile. He can glide past players, drag defenders out of shape, and open lanes for players like Palmer to hurt you. Gittins isn't just a spark off the bench. He's a solution to stale possession and locked defenses, and waiting in the wings, literally, is Estevão Willian. Just 18, already seasoned in Brazil's top flight, and arriving with the most goal contributions in Serie A. He even scored against Chelsea in the Club World Cup quarter-finals. He's not just an upgrade on the now-departed Madueke, he's the evolution. Madueke could carry the ball, but Estevão carries it with purpose. He makes decisions quickly, finishes clinically, and plays like the game slows down around him. Add in the potential arrival of Xavi Simons, and suddenly, Palmer isn't the lone conductor anymore. Simons can operate centrally or off the left, unlock defenses with a pass, or glide past 2 markers to feed the final ball. When Palmer rests, and he'll need it with Champions League football back, the level won't drop. That's the difference between being a good team and a feared one. So what's the one thing that could ruin everything? Front line can go toe-to-toe with any of the Premier League's best, and it's not even the midfield. Arguably, Chelsea have one of the best midfields in the league, maybe even the best, with Enzo, Caicedo, and a fit Lavia providing both control and destruction. But the defense? That's where the cracks show. Colwill is fantastic with the ball at his feet, but has looked shaky defensively. He gave away a penalty against Liverpool, and it's not the first time he's looked vulnerable. His partner? That's still unclear. It could be Tosin, it could be Chalobah. Both are solid, but not elite. And behind them, Robert Sanchez. Yes, he ended last season in great form, especially in the Club World Cup. But let's not forget, Sanchez had the joint most errors leading to goals in the Premier League last season. Those mistakes didn't cost Chelsea a Champions League place, but they could easily cost them a title race. All in all, that's not to say Chelsea can't do it. But it will depend on Sanchez building on his Club World Cup form and proving he belongs at the top level. And let's not forget, with Caicedo destroying every attack in front of them, Chelsea just might have enough to go all the way. What do you think?